For this video review and at the same time Kitbash video, it's going to be G.I. Joe Classified Series Cobra Dreadnok Zandar, number 146 in the G.I. Joe Classified Series line. Okay, so we remember the first version of Zandar in O-ring version. It was an action figure that really did not inspire purchase. Yeah, personally. So I remember that action figure when I was still in my elementary days or as a kid. I remember that action figure sitting on toy shelves or toy displays for a very long time, while other GI Joe action figures or Cobra action figures would really move out of shelves or be purchased. Okay, now I had high hopes for this new version that it's going to be more articulated. I really loved the detail when I saw the digital and the reveal renders of this action figure. But yep, I also watched the other reviews about this guy, and yeps, articulation problems. So because of the scarf, the head is locked in, not much movement, just a little bit of left and right. And the very bad part of this action figure are going to be the shoulders, because the shoulders are locked in by this shoulder ornament. Okay, so let's show that piece. Okay, so it's going to be this shoulder joint. So this attaches to the body, and that has this ornament. Okay, so actually it is glued that way, and yes, that really locks in the shoulder articulation points. Well, no problem with 360-degree turns, but with regards to T poses and other poses that you would like to put the action figure, especially when you manipulate the butterfly joints, really impossible. So really bad design. Okay, so let's take in the figure that we already modded. Okay, so we have the Kitbash version, my interpretation of Cobra Dreadnok Zandar. Okay, so let us first define what a good action figure is. So it's going to be a balance between two items, a 50-50 balance between two items. Of course, there's going to be a limitation in actual form, because of course if you're going to deal with a 1:12 scale action figure, then there's going to be trade-offs. But generally speaking, a good action figure is a balance between design and function, or the articulation department. Okay, so which this action figure, good design but bad articulation points. The original version, acceptable articulation points, but with regards to the design, oh, what an ugly looking action figure, really. Yeah. Okay, so let us first do a quick 360 tour of my take or my rendition of Cobra Dreadnok Zandar. Okay, so another guiding principle in building this, or my interpretation of Cobra Dreadnok Zandar, Dreadnoks, loud and flashy. So I just added one thing: loud, flashy, but tactical. Okay, so incorporated in this action figure build. Okay, so let's identify parts on this action figure. So the body and the ball of the arms. So body and ball of the arms, that's coming from G.I. Joe Classified Series Leatherneck. Well, this is going to be already my Kitbash version. Actually, how many times did I already presented the... Yeah, I need to check later on. But that body and that ball of the arms is coming from Leatherneck. Okay. So, the rest of the gear, especially that item and that rifle, would come from Action Force Valoverse, this action figure. So, which I kitbashed or converted to a RoboCop action figure. There you go. And there you go. From Star Wars Black Series. So the head unit is from Star Wars Black Series. There you go. Okay. So we already established the major parts. So this section of the vest. Okay, so let's adjust the camera and adjust the focus a little bit and the light. There you go. Okay, so this section of the vest that comes from Action Force Valoverse. So with the magazines. So these magazines, 1, 2, 3. The holder is from this action figure. Okay, so yeah, why did I choose silver magazines? As I mentioned earlier, Dreadnoks are loud and flashy. Okay, so the backpack also would have magazines on the sides. So what I did was just to heat up these sections. Actually, the what do you call that? The spears or ammunition for the primary weapon that the G.I. Joe Classified Series team furnished this guy. It's a separate glued piece. So what I did was just to apply a little bit of heat or hair dryer and took those two items off and took out my drill to widen out the hole so I could fix 2 additional magazines on the backpack, which are removable too. So removable 1, 2, removable 1, 2, 3, removable 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that brown section, so you already noticed, guys, that we took off the pistol holster. Okay, so we replaced with the magazine card for the rifle. Okay, but that section, since we have a cut portion, that looks ugly, so I needed something to really cover it up. Okay, but at the same time, I thought of something that's going to provide accent to the front of the vest. Okay, so the color of the mag holders is a match for the shirt, but I added once again little bit of paint. So yep, Molotov. Okay, so going back, that piece comes from G.I. Joe Classified Series Outback Tiger Force. Okay, so which we have a lot of. So the items, yeah, that's the rifle sling. So I straightened it out with a hair dryer and cut off the excess portions and glued it onto the front of the vest. Okay, so it's going to provide some sort of contrast to the front of the vest. So paint on this section and paint on that section. We also painted with a Molotov pen the knee guards, so with the backpack. Okay, there you go. So flashy, flashy, flashy. Okay, so this is an original piece from Zandar. So that used to be a holder for his axe. So what we did was just to take off the axe holder. So cut it off with an X-Acto knife, and we glued this magazine card holder for the Zandar figure. So provides some more flashy for the action figure. There you go. And we glued it in the middle section of the card. So when we place it on the thigh of the action figure, it would look like it's going to be attached to the chain, gold chain that is attached to his belt. So still flashy, but at the same time tactical. Okay, so the primary weapon, we also added a little bit of paint on the barrel, on the Picatinny rail sections, on this section too, and replaced it with a different magazine, a silver magazine, once again to provide some form of flashy. Okay, so going to the last item, so G.I. Joe Classified Series. Yeah, rock and roll. So this belongs to rock and roll, but the pistol does not belong to rock and roll. That is Action Force Valverse, but it's modded. Okay, why did I mod that? So it's going to fit the holster. So I know that you guys would already have this in your collection. This 1911 pistol, very fancy looking, chrome plated 1911 pistol. So this section is missing the weapon light. So I cut it off with an X-Acto knife. And with a little bit of sandpaper, so just clean the roughed out portions. And that's going to be a perfect fit for that holster. So why choose that 1911? Once again, because it's flashy, flashy. But with regards to how it looks, so flared magwell and a RMR sight, so still tactical. Okay, now with regards to the ball of the arms, now we have full range or articulation on this action figure. So with whatever pose that I want to put this action figure on, I could, especially rifle holding poses. Okay, so do we need that protector, shoulder armor? No. Okay, now with regards to head articulation, so this is still the original Zandar piece. Okay, so let's adjust our camera, move it up a little bit. Okay, there you go. Now that piece, as you could see, it's missing some portions of it because I shaved the outer portions of the scarf. So that scarf now rides lower on the shoulders of the action figure. Actually, it's nestled just on top of the shoulder, providing more clearance for the neck. And as you could see, guys, there's more clearance for the hair too. So articulation actually is improved. There you go. So very simple, easy solution for head articulation and shoulder articulation. And at the same time, we beautified the action figure, make it more acceptable, make it more good looking, make it more tactical. Okay, so there you go, guys. Another simple but very efficient Kitbash recipe, something that you could easily follow, not very complicated. So that's my goal in making Kitbash videos right now, to make the recipes simpler, easy to follow. Okay, so I think by this time that this video is going to be released, I'd be already sitting on my plane heading back home. So I'd be across somewhere, possibly in the well, I don't know. So the present location as when I instructed my new moderator to release this Kitbash video recipe. Okay, so very excited once again to later on, if I could really, or time permits, that I could show footages of toy hands and other stuff which I mentioned in my channel update video, the Easter Kitbash and channel update video. So the items that I mentioned there. So yeah, I'd be putting out videos too, even if we guys are on vacation. Actually, a mix of business trip, training, and at the same time vacation. Okay, so if you like this review, like, comment, and subscribe to help me grow my channel. And see you on the next action figure or custom action figure review.